Hey, howdy ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast again with Case and myself, Chris. What do you have today, Case?
Oh, we got plenty to talk about today. It was a
I'm
fun
asking
day.
about what you're drinking, my friend.
Local Michigan stuff. So I've been doing my best to, and Detroit has been doing its best to make me feel at home. I got a Champagne Brut from whatever brewery this is from.
I think it's something up there.
Something like a Red Rooster or something. Yeah. But no, we went to a liquor store yesterday. I picked up a bunch of local brews. They've all been really good. I've got one over here from Great Lakes that's a Moscow Mule Ale, which will be an interesting. We'll see. We'll have a review on that maybe later.
Yeah, yeah. Good Time Party Store in Northville. Thank you guys.
Good Time Party Store.
Vine Stefan are here.
What a
name. One of my top 10 beers. I love a great German
For sure.
Bavarian wheat beer, Hefeweizen. Gets your belly bubbling, so it's good to go. So hey, lot went on in camp today. We want to talk about that. Case, I'll let you allude to that because you started and I interrupted you with your beer question.
Yeah. Where do we want to start? Running backs?
Or
do we want to start with the whole?
Let's talk about Ty Johnson. Let's talk about the running backs. That whole.
I came into camp today specifically wanting to watch Ty Johnson because, he's gotten a little bit of hype here and there. He's a unique player on this roster. There aren't, there's nobody else on the offense with the kind of speed he has, which presents a unique. He had a phenomenal day in my point of view. Now, to be fair, I have to question, whether or not that's, confirmation bias because I was watching him specifically.
You were really on his job before we got there. I was like, wow. So it's possible there's some confirmation bias.
And he was easy to pick out, too, because he was like the only guy wearing the long sleeve blue sleeves. So it wasn't hard to pick him out. But when he was on the field, they used him in a lot of different ways, and we sat for quite a while with Kent Platt today, which was very nice. Great guy. It was great to meet him. But he told me that they hadn't been using Ty Johnson in the pass game at all prior to today, but then he got snaps there, and he made one of the most spectacular plays of the day on a downfield reception, getting past the defender and wide open. So it was a great day for him. Some great runs. Obviously, whenever you have a running back, run plays in camp.
Run plays. Got it.
From Rutgers.
That's they do.
It's hard to tell. Exactly how much effort the defense is putting into trying to stop him. So it's not. But generally speaking, it seemed like he was electric.
Yeah.
And it seemed like he was getting more snaps than any other running back other than possibly Kerryon Johnson, although because Kerryon got a lot of carries during the heat of the drills, but Ty was getting them early and at the end and all the way through. He was just getting a very consistent workload. So you don't want to read too much into that because it might have just been Ty's day. They said, let's see what Ty can do today. But it looked like possibly a situation where Ty is. He is definitely getting looked at very closely.
And to Kent Platt, who I always look forward to camp. He and I spent some time together, and it's awesome. We get our Twitter thumbs working at the same time. We get a group of people generally going, and it's it's great.
We'll talk about how that went today too. But
great. And Kent is above and beyond. He's a really, really great guy. I really appreciate him. But he said that Ty had not been doing spectacularly throughout camp.
Right.
And today was his day. He probably got more reps because he looked so good out there. Kerryon looked great.
CJ looked great.
CJ is all 4'3" of them looked awesome.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to talk about though on the running plays piece is Kent made a great point when we were talking about how it's all they're doing muscle memory work, right? They're not. Yeah. It's not crazy.
Getting guys in the right spots, making sure they know where the right spots are.
When the preseason hits is when you're going to start seeing what the running game really looks like and what it means. But they were looking. They looked good out there. The guys looked good. Zach didn't have his best day. Zach Zenner.
Note on Zach Zenner, he has the biggest calves on the roster, and I'm not exaggerating. I think they're bigger than any of the offensive linemen. I at one point in camp, like I saw it from a distance, and so we were sitting at the back of the bleachers, and I walked down and like got right behind the offensive players. And took a close look, and I know that sounds weird, but like no, I have a crush on him anyways. So,
and you
but
you
no,
let
like
him know.
his calves are like
Bigger than your biceps.
It's like a Popeye thing where Popeye had small biceps but massive forearms. That's what's going on with Zach right now. His calves are huge.
Yeah, they're crazy.
But no, it wasn't his best day.
But he did acknowledge Case. It's funny because it was in the same place, in the bleachers where I sat yesterday when I yelled and got the thumbs up. Case gave his yell and also got the big Zenner thumbs up. I think he's clueless. I think today he responded. He was like, okay. Like I think tomorrow is
Zach Zenner Day, so we'll see if we can. Yeah,
absolutely. So he looked good out there. CJ, I joked about his height, right?
It's tiny. He's so short. Well, I shouldn't say tiny, but he's very short.
He's as tall as you are.
Is he really? He can't be more than like 5'8" or 5'9".
Just a big. I mean, it's call him a bowling ball. He looks good out there. Saw some interesting formations, and we can't go into this, right? So because it's one of the rules of camp and one of the media rules, but I would be on the lookout for some really cool, crafty formations out of this team starting this year. Probably a lot of it is just mess around time, seeing what works.
Right.
They had refs there this time who maybe they were running some of these things by. You don't know; it's pure speculation. But definitely they were trying some new things out there formation wise today, and very interesting. I like the thinking. I like what I was seeing.
Mostly,
definitely gonna be fun to watch.
Without going into too much detail, it's mostly about like running backs and tight ends and
no detail. It's formations.
Right.
So that's it. Sorry, we can't go into any detail on that. That's just one of the big rules they gave us. So that looked really good. Love seeing that. Anything else in the running backs that we saw out there?
Let's see. The Mark Thompson, Thompson, running back on the list. Probably not going to make the roster unless there's injuries, but he was putting in effort in a very significant way. So he's the kind of guy who if he gets time in the preseason, if something were to happen, he could endear himself to the fan base. So I wouldn't be surprised, were that to happen if all of a sudden he's a guy that everybody's aware of. So keep an ear out. For that in that situation is Thompson.
Yep. And here's
big dude, tallest and biggest running back.
Something you guys really should know about. You thought we were just doing a podcast. You just saw the video pop up. Sorry, production issues. A little bit needed of a nap. A lot going on, and not a whole lot of sleep. So
we weren't doing video.
we were video free there for a few. So apologize. But we've now evolved the podcast and we have the video free guys. So we'll be better all the time. It's always an improvement thing, right? So yeah, that was big. Something else that we really didn't talk a whole lot about today, but for other reasons we'll get into it. But the Hill opens today.
The Hill is there.
It is there, and it's not small. No. And
I wouldn't want to have to run up and down it the way they did.
No. And they did in groups of about 5. Yeah. The whistle was blowing, and 5 guys.
The whole team at one point near the end of practice, the whole team went over to the Hill.
Yep.
And they ran drills up and down.
Up and down. They did easily 15 reps. I don't say easily,
but
5-10
minutes of them,
And so they did that. Afterwards, the defense got to sit down and stretch, which I'm sure they liked. A couple of little people on the offense went and did a couple more reps, which I'm sure was just killer, crazy. So the Hill's there. The investment has now started to be used. We'll see the payoff, but that was some seriously intense stuff. Was hitting the whistle. Boom, boom. I thought that eventually Patricia was going to hyperventilate, but it turned out okay. He was able to drive away safely. So that was good. Hill was a big deal. Martha Ford out there. Let's talk about Martha really quick. Again, you guys know Martha, right? They parked at the far end of the walk. Again, remember, she's 94.
Right.
She's out at every practice. She was out there yesterday in the heat, right? No problem. She walked to the field at a brisk clip.
It wasn't even phased. It was,
and I was like,
I would have gotten winded doing it,
Yeah, and I was saying there, it's like, wow, she's 94. No, she's doing like she was in her 40s.
Right.
She had a good clip. I was like,
how many of you know somebody in their 90s, just
Let's really quick on the wide receivers today. We had some stuff with them, some good and some bad.
Some good and some bad, for sure.
Let's talk about Travis Fulgham because I think we can talk a little bit about the quarterbacks a little bit too.
Yeah.
Not a great pass to him. I think it was from Fail that threw the ball.
Not a lot of great passes from Fails.
Yeah, not his name is not incorrect.
It's
Sorry.
like Chase Daniel.
Yeah,
David
Jason
Fails. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, another throw from Fails to the safety, and Fulgham was able to break it up. That was one of the conversations we had with Ken.
It was an interception. Fulgham got in there.
He got in there hard and ripped that ball out, and then they all went down together. And he got a little ding there. He was slow getting up.
Took him a minute to get up.
He was a little hobbled. Not hobbled. That's probably too overstating. But he had a little gimp to him when he was coming off the field, and by the end of practice,
But return to practice full.
Hill the whole thing, so he's probably got some kind of ding or bruise or something out of that deal, and you hate to see it.
But that's the only injury we saw all day.
Yeah.
All day, which blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like I was expecting, at least a few times today to see somebody go down on the field and not get back up again.
Right. It was there. Time and Jared, I don't know if we want to go to Jared Davis yet. He had a lot, but he had that hit on Carry On where they were doing a drill.
He also had so we'll go to Jared in a minute.
Yeah, linebacker, running back drill. I gotta tell this. And Carry On gets the ball. He comes forward. Jared comes up and just plants. And there's all kinds of moves, right? They were trying to block, right? Or so he couldn't get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Weak spot of the day for the running backs was the blocking drills, but
I couldn't. Davis came up, and so Carry On comes to block, and they were whatever. Carry On Davis just came up and folded Carry On over backwards, and that was one where you think like he's set for a block, and all of a sudden you pull. I mean, you could really mess the muscles up doing like that, getting like that. Mm-hmm. Davis just wrecked him on that. That was ugly. Great for Davis because it was a loud ass pop, and Carry On was not. Blocking will probably change his technique.
where the linebacker took a little bit of advantage of them. A little better than expected. It might also mean the running backs have a lot of movement. So once again, it's one of those either or situations. But I actually did Jared Davis overall.
Sure.
He had a really solid day. He had one of the best pass breakups of the day. Now it was technically you call it a drop by T.J. Hawkinson, but I don't know if that's. Davis was draped all over him, and he had one hand free, and the ball hit him here, and he tried to corral it, but it would have been if he had come down with it, it would have been truly spectacular. That he didn't come down with Jared Davis's tight physical coverage that prevented it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Talk about wide receivers. We talked about Travis Fulgham. We talked about. We saw some really good catch from not Marvin.
Galladay.
Thank you, Galladay. Why did I forget his name? You may have heard of him.
Galladay had impressed quietly. He's like it seems every day you hear about one or two catches that he made that were borderline spectacular. Well, he had another one today. So
yeah, absolutely.
It was back corner of the end zone. He managed to get with a high point on the catch, and it was really good. The one wide receiver I thought stood out more than any of them today, Danny Amendola.
Oh,
He's so tenacious. And favorite moment of I shouldn't say that. One of my favorite moments of the day was when I caught him talking with Marvin Jones and Galladay, and he's coaching Galladay on the sideline. We don't know what he's saying, but you could tell by the gestures he's making that he's talking about the plays on the field and explaining things, explaining things to Kenny that Kenny should be doing in this situation or that situation or whatever. But he's so he's got such a good leadership in that group, and it's so clear in that group.
And there was no throwing helmets or anything. It was gone. Whatever. Yesterday was gone from his mind, and he was out.
Yeah.
A lot of separation. This is that Danny Amendola you really hope is on the team. That's the guy.
Quietly, Marvin Jones had a good day too. I mean, there was nothing like outright spectacular, but there was a couple of plays with.
Gotta keep them separated.
So drops we've ever seen.
Yeah.
From Andy Jones.
It was
just like
there was a crashing investigation.
It hit him in the chest. He had his hands on it. I don't know how better to explain it, but it just like completely bounced away. Yeah, it was just ugly. But there was a lot of ugly drops from the wide receivers and from the tight ends today. There were as practice neared the end, I was feeling pretty negative about the offense in general in the middle of the practice, but as the practice neared the end, things improved significantly. So I walked away feeling somewhat better about the offense, especially the wide receivers and tight ends, than I was earlier on.
And it's one of the things as you go through camp, we talk about this, and we're going to continue to talk about it, is generally the defense beats the offense early. Mm-hmm. And yesterday the offense stoking the defense. Today, the defense has surged back. I like to see this competition. Yeah. Hopefully they can. It's a series of steel sharpening steel, right? Where they're both getting better and continue to get. We'll see as we go tomorrow and in the next week. Looking. So your first day, that was good. There was one thing though. Your first training camp was an experience that I have to tell you,
that we've talked about more than anything else since we left.
It was so impactful as far as being able to enjoy your time there. So we're there, and the policy is strictly no photos, no videos during practice. 100%. I'm fine. I understand, right? I liked before being able to get some here and there, but no problem.
But you all know me, like I'm in favor of the team doing whatever they feel they need to do to gain a competitive advantage, and if that is like limiting the amount of information that competitors can get on them, great, I'm all for that.
So there's the case, and so we'd be sitting there, and we'd be like, oh wow, look, Travis Fulgham broke up a great play, and go to tweet
down on our phones, like down
on the, your phone's down, right? It's down, and the security guys yell us. No, right? And then he's like, okay, wow.
Which the first time it's like, okay.
So, but we've communicated with. So we got yelled at like 3 times.
The last time they came up, they said, if you guys can't cut out whatever you're doing, if you guys can't cut out whatever you're doing, you're gonna be
4 or 5 days.
And it wasn't like we said. It is no. It's not the policy. Organization, I don't think nobody, and we're not the only ones. We've heard
get yelled at for being on the phone.
Yeah, it's like, we also Kent said that the same thing happened to one of his guys yesterday. So
way overzealous enforcement and inconsistent, right? I don't think they fully understand the policy and how to enforce it. They probably weren't trained. I get the guy came up to me and where was I from? What did he say about me?
Right. He said, well, we don't know.
Yeah, for that inevitable Super Bowl game, right?
Which, hilariously enough, he's flown up from Florida to but of all teams, the Miami Dolphins.
Please don't tell me I look like Florida, man. It had to be. I don't know what the hell happened.
So look for that to be a running, thing with the whole thing.
Miami Vice over here. So and so then the last came up and sent a guy up instead of just yelling at us. Up and my phone, I had a big piece of paper covering it, kind of like I'm using.
We were trying very hard to
be very clear that there's no camera in action here. If a camera was on, all it would see is this in front of it. And I'm like, look, there's nothing the fuck else I can do here.
Yeah.
I just want to see. So phone away, my from there, and it's never a bad time to call your mom unless you're.
Apparently it is.
With an untrained staff and over enforcing a policy that we understand, except either it's a no phones policy, right, or it's a no camera policy.
Right, and if they had said no phones, we would have begrudgingly obliged by that, but they didn't, so we didn't do that, and then got in trouble for not taking pictures.
Yeah,
it was a little bit. It was It has to. It's gonna make a lot of people mad, and it was making everybody they said anything to a single person trying to take a picture. Now there may have been, I'm not saying I had eyes on the whole crowd the whole time or anything like that, but they were just.
They always got a retort. I'm sending a text. Everybody's like, I'm everything but like I'm taking a picture, right?
We were being very respectful of the. We got punished for something.
Right. And frankly, you spend a good amount of money to come to camp. You want to be able to share text or tweet or Facebook or whatever the heck you're using. What's going on? And that was not part of the deal that you couldn't do that, right? You made a financial choice based on what the rules were.
Right.
And we're following the rules, and then you still can't even do it. The phone sat for the last hour in the pocket. That was very, very frustrating.
That's probably enough for those of you who don't care about that whole situation. It was just a frustrating part of the day for us.
So if you're going, just know.
Just know.
If you see the guy who's breathing through his mouth, go sit in a different section because he's the one. All right, so okay, we'll move on. Let's talk about Stafford and the quarterback side. Not the best of days. There was a lot of... So we talk a little bit about how the wide receivers are doing. A little bit reminiscent to the Senior Bowl. The quarterbacks weren't always on target with these balls today, and they made it hard on these guys sometimes to get these catches.
Yeah, there were definitely a few overthrows. Stafford threw an ugly pass to Tracy Walker that was intended for... I don't even remember who the wide receiver was on that play. But I don't think it wasn't fault in that instance. Oftentimes you can tell that it is. In this instance, he just so it wasn't his best day. I wouldn't, that's the kind of thing, it's not like he's never had bad days in camp like throughout his career. I don't necessarily think that alters my perception of him at all. Like come game time. But Savage had a pretty good day, but Fails was, watch when very early in the practice when they throwing passes like just drills, not running scenarios, not running full like just quarterback to wide receiver, quarterback to tight end, running back, whatever drills. It's fun to watch the ball come out of, because they'll have two quarterbacks throwing at the same time. It'll either be Stafford and Savage, it'll be Savage or Fails, or it'll be Stafford and Fails. So like 2 of the 3 are throwing a ball at the same time. To watch how fast the ball gets there out of Stafford's arm compared to the other two, and then to watch how fast the ball from Savage gets there compared to Fails. But like when you have Stafford and Fails there, and the balls come out at the same time, it's like
it's not as bad as Brad Kaya, where Stafford was getting 2 throws for every one Kaya.
Well, there was the one, Kent was telling us, about the one time Kellen Moore threw a 15-yard pass, but it looked like a Hail Mary because the ball had that vertical angle on it the whole way there.
That is funny. Yeah. So good stuff. Definite separation in the quarterbacks. Separation between Stafford and Savage is a lot less than it is between.
We didn't see anything bad out of Savage again today. So straight up bad. Not everything was perfect, but
still likely our best backup situation.
Yeah, we're relatively pleased with that.
Let's see. Tight ends, rough day.
Yeah, it was a rough day. I mentioned the T.J. Hawkinson drop. It wasn't. Once again, I have a hard time coming down too hard on him for that because it was a difficulty situation. But there just weren't very many plays made by any of them. James in the H-back at one point, I think. Mm-hmm. So they used some interesting positions, and I once again we probably can't go too far into that. They used them in a little bit of interesting ways. They were all over the field, but I don't think it was a tight end centric day today. whereas it may have been other days.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't seem like they were the focus of the offense.
It felt like a running back day. A lot about the running backs.
But when they did, have opportunities, they weren't necessarily making the most of it. I wouldn't read too much into that. Once again, I don't think it was their day. So we'll look again tomorrow. I'll be paying much closer. I think, like I came in today looking at the running back, specifically Ty Johnson. Tomorrow I'll be coming in looking at the tight ends, specifically Hawk and James.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about a little bit about tomorrow. We've got one more day. It's Zach Zenner Day. You've got your credential.
Yeah.
Be able to go do some media coverage of the press. Mr. Patricia, Coach. So we start leading then towards Friday, which is the big party, right? Join us, get your tickets, head on down. It's 6 to 10 p.m. at the Uptown Grill in Commerce. Dean Blandino.
We went there last night, had a lot of fun.
Yeah. All the staff is ready.
I'll leave it at that.
Dean Blandino's going to be there. He almost lost his wallet. That was pretty fun.
I did, actually. I tipped. I bought a beer for the dude who returned it to me.
Yeah, so that was really good of him. So Blandino, he's going to be at the party. Dan Miller's going to make it after the Fan Fest. He's coming down as well. It's 6 to 10 officially. We'll have the after party there, though. They won't kick us out for a while. And then even once they eventually do, we can hang out at the bar there, or there's another local bar we can go to and spend some time. Head on over to party.detroitlionspodcast.com to get your tickets and join us. It's going to be a great time. Get the premiere of the video, which is really cool. Trailer.detroitlionspodcast.com there. You can see that. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think you guys will love that. I really do. It was a lot of fun to put together. But party.detroitlionspodcast.com. Get your tickets and join us. Don't miss out. A lot of great people coming. We talked to Schlitt coming down probably. Risden will be there. You'll be there. I'll be there. Sandman will be there. It's going to be a good time for everybody. So get your tickets. Have a lot of fun with some pretty cool people. All right.
I just want to say everything that's... Detroit's been great to me. It's my first time here, first time in Michigan. It's been awesome. So I just want to say, thank you thank you to all of our fans, all of our listeners, because that I'm gonna be able to do this, stuff tomorrow. That.
They took him out at the knees. He was running around on some stumps, I guess, right?
No, he was. And actually, I think the pick he had on Stafford that we mentioned earlier. I think he was outside corner. Yeah. And so they had him moving around a little bit, and he was everywhere he was. Seemed like he was breaking plays. So when you have an individual defender stand out on a day like that, it's interesting because they don't. When they spread the targets around, they're not. One guy to stand out. That's not an easy thing to do, and he did. So it's talk about defensive players individually than it is offensive players. Just because the focus, obviously, it's easier to know who the target was to than it is to know like who broke it up. But Tracy was just he was a machine today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he and like looks versatile. So
it's a big up for us. It's a big help. Because we needed him. So what else we got? We got St. Jude dinner we auctioned off tonight. Colin Nudes joined him for dinner. Gonna have some delicious Ruth's Chris steaks. Can't wait for that. Party coming up. Tracy Walker ripping things up. Anything else in Jared Davis that we wanted to cover?
No, but we did have buddies today. I had buddies, so that was once again I had. Up Detroit. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that, buddies. All right. Well, that'll do it for this one. I bet by the next time we do this, it's just going to be locked in. We'll have video. We'll have audio.
Hopefully we'll have had the King.
Tighter together for everyone tomorrow. All right. Tomorrow's report. Same bad time, same bad channel, same bad shit crazy. All right, rock on, folks, and go Lions, right?